The driver, your big personality club. This is the club that makes you feel like a superhero. It's got the biggest head, the longest shaft, and it promises maximum distance. But here's the thing, distance means nothing if you're in the woods. When choosing a driver, look at the loft. Most beginners should start with 10.5 to 12 degrees of loft. I know. You saw the pros using 9 degrees. But the pros also practice 6 hours a day and have swing speeds that could power a small wind turbine. More loft means the ball goes higher and straighter. Less loft means more distance. If you can hit it consistently, the shaft matters too. Regular flex for most people, stiff for faster swingers, and senior or ladies flex for slower swing speeds. Don't let ego drive this choice. A shaft that's too stiff is like trying to swing a metal pole. You'll lose distance and accuracy. Fairway woods, the reliable middle children. These are numbered 3, 5, 7, and sometimes 9. Lower numbers mean less loft and more distance. A 3 wood is basically a mini driver that you can actually hit off the ground. A 5 wood is more forgiving and perfect for those awkward 200-yard shots. Here's the secret most beginners don't know. You probably don't need a 3 wood. It's hard to hit. Start with a 5 wood or even a 7 wood. They're easier to launch, more forgiving, and honestly, they'll probably go almost as far as your poorly struck 3 wood would anyway. Hybrids, the game changers. Remember those long irons collecting dust? Yeah, nobody can hit those anymore. That's where hybrids come in. They're basically a love child between a fairway wood and an iron. They combine the forgiveness of a wood with the control of an iron. Most players swap out their 3, 4, and sometimes 5 iron for hybrids. The number on a hybrid roughly corresponds to the iron it replaces. So a 4 hybrid replaces your 4 iron. Simple math. Why are they so good? That wider sole glides through the turf instead of digging. The lower center of gravity launches the ball higher, and that bigger sweet spot forgives your mishits. If you're not playing hybrids yet, you're working way too hard. Irons, the backbone of your bag. This is where things get interesting. You'll typically carry irons from 5 or 6 down through your pitching wedge. Each iron is 1 club length shorter and has more loft than the one before it, which means it goes higher and shorter. Now, you've got 2 main categories, game improvement irons and player's irons. Game improvement irons have bigger heads, wider soles, and more offset. They're designed to launch the ball high and forgive your mistakes. The cavity-back design puts weight around the perimeter, making off-center hits fly straighter. If you're a beginner or high handicapper, these are your best friends. Player's irons are smaller, have less offset, and give you more control and feedback. They also punish your bad shots more severely. Unless you're consistently shooting in the 80s, you probably don't need these. I don't care how good they look. They're not helping your game. There's also a distance debate. Modern game improvement irons have stronger lofts. What used to be a 7 iron is now labeled an 8 iron. Companies do this to make you feel like you hit it farther. Smart marketing, but it means your gaps between clubs matter more than the numbers stamped on them. Wedges, your scorekeepers. You'll have at least 2, maybe 4 wedges. The pitching wedge usually comes with your iron set. That's around 44 to 48 degrees of loft. Then you've got gap wedges, 50 to 52 degrees, sand wedges, 54 to 56 degrees, and lob wedges, 58 to 60 degrees. Here's the golden rule, don't have gaps bigger than 4 to 6 degrees between your wedges. Why? Because every shot inside 120 yards is a scoring opportunity, and you need the right tool for each distance. The bounce on wedges is crucial too. High bounce, 10 to 14 degrees, works great in soft conditions or if you're a digger. Low bounce, 4 to 8 degrees, is better for firm turf or if you have a shallow angle of attack. Medium bounce, 8 to 10 degrees, is the safe all-arounder. The putter. Your mood determines your choice. Putters are weird. There's blade putters, mallet putters, and everything in between. Some have alignment aids that look like a NASA control panel. Others are simple and classic. The truth? It's about what gives you confidence. Face-balanced mallets are great for straight back, straight through strokes. Toe hang blades work better for arc-style putting strokes. But honestly, if you like the look of it and you're making putts, that's the right putter. Length matters more than most people think. Standard putters are 34 to 35 inches. But if you're tall or short, get fitted. Putting with the wrong length forces bad posture, which ruins everything. Fitting, worth every penny. Here's where I get serious for a second. Getting fitted is not just for good players. In fact, beginners benefit more from proper fitting because they're building habits. A fitting checks your shaft length, lie angle, grip size, and shaft flex. The lie angle alone can make a 20-yard difference in where your ball ends up. If your clubs are too upright, you'll pull everything left. Too flat, and you're living in the right rough. Grip size affects your hand action. Grips too small cause excessive hand rotation. Hello, hooks. Grips too thick restrict hand action, slice city. Standard grips fit most people, but check if your hands are particularly large or small. Building your perfect set. So what should you actually carry? Here's a smart setup for most improving players. Driver, 5 wood, 4 hybrid, 5 hybrid, 6 iron through pitching wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge, and putter. That's 13 clubs, leaving you room to add a lob wedge or another hybrid as you improve. Don't feel pressured to carry clubs you can't hit. If you can't hit a 5 iron, replace it with a hybrid. If your 3 wood only comes out once per round and finds trouble, ditch it for something you'll actually use. The budget reality. You don't need to spend $3,000 on clubs. Last year's models are usually 40 to 50% cheaper and perform nearly identically. Used clubs in good condition are even more affordable. A full set of quality used game improvement clubs can cost less than $500. Here's a smart buying strategy. Invest more in the clubs you use most. Your driver, putter, and wedges deserve your budget priority because you use them on literally every hole. Your 8 iron? That can be a few years old and you won't notice much difference. Demo days at golf courses and stores are your best friend. You can test different brands and models without commitment. Hit each club at least 10 times. The first couple swings don't tell you anything. Pay attention to consistency, not just your best shot. Online retailers often have better deals than pro shops, but make sure they offer good return policies. Some companies let you try clubs for 30 to 60 days. Take advantage of that. Golf is expensive enough without being stuck with clubs you hate. Maintenance. Here's something nobody talks about enough. Taking care of your clubs. Clean grooves matter. Dirt-filled grooves reduce spin by up to 30%. Get a groove brush and clean them after every round. 2 minutes of maintenance can save you shots. Check your grips annually. If they're shiny, hard, or slick, replace them. New grips cost about $5 to $8 per club installed and can completely transform how a club feels. It's the cheapest upgrade you'll ever make. Protect your clubs with head covers, especially woods and hybrids. Those carbon fiber faces are tough, but club-on-club contact in your bag can cause damage over time. Plus, head covers reduce that awful rattling noise when you're walking. Now get out there and find the clubs that'll actually help your game, not the ones that just look good in your trunk. Your scorecard will thank you.